So as we move into the bad or areas for improvement, we're going to start with the Pistons and the personnel knowing what their job is on these possessions. And just look how long it takes them to get to the right spot here. So we're already 13 seconds into the shot clock, and you can see no real action has happened. And then watch here. Hami's going to tell Luka Garza, no, you're supposed to be over there. Get out of the way. So they're trying to get to an action here, but Luka Garza's in the wrong spot. I think it's the action we showed in the good, but Frank Jackson actually cuts to this side, and now Tyler Hero has nobody to stay on, and it's not the 2-on-1 that we saw created. So it's about the personnel and the players knowing where they're supposed to be, and then you see the shot attempt they end up with. Now, the offensive rebound is big time, and that's something I want to see this team do more of when teams go zone, but you can see this, like you watch that possession, and it just looks like an awful possession, but there was an action that was supposed to happen that never did. We're going to see the same thing here. As the screen is going to happen here, I think this is the one with the counter to that we've talked about, but they don't execute it correctly. When Cade Cunningham doesn't really sell it coming this way, Garza doesn't really get in spot for the screen, and then as Cade comes back, both Hami and Frank cut, and then as you watch the play, like they all three end up in the lane at the same time, and there's no opening, no action whatsoever. So I think that was the counter play that I showed you, but just no execution whatsoever, ends up in a turnover. Now I'm going to show you what that full court press can kind of do to a team. The Pistons do this at time also. It's not always about creating turnovers. It's about the shot clock. So this was to start the second quarter, the first possession of the second quarter for the Pistons. They barely get across the timeline, and then just watch how long it takes them to get into anything. They've called some action. Hami doesn't know for sure. Frank is getting told where to go. We're already at 6 seconds. We're down. Now we're pointing again. Hami's going somewhere else. We're pointing at Frank. We're down under 5 seconds, and literally nothing aggressive has happened. Now, whether this is the players or Casey not letting them, know what to do exactly, but that's the shot you end up with. And to me, it's about just not knowing what the action was. Here's another one where I kind of like the action, but it's not executed. So essentially what you're trying to get here is almost a 4-on-3 with Middleton, nobody really having anybody to guard. So you have a matchup here, and then it's a 2-on-1. Well, Trey Lyles doesn't read this. The defender is cheating over the top of the screen. All Trey Lyles has to do right now is slip and ask for the ball on the baseline, and he's going to get a bucket or a pass out to Frank Jackson, but he kind of just stays with the screen, and they end up in the same spot, and that single defender is able to guard both of them. Yes, he ends up making the shot, but the shot could have been way easier if he would have executed the initial action. Here's a man set the Pistons run, and it actually is going to work out okay. But again, Luka Garza doesn't really set a solid screen. For some reason, he continues to move down, but they still get Kyle Lowry to step up. Cade makes the pass to Josh Jackson. To me, Josh Jackson should immediately attack right here. Like, attack right now. Look where Kyle Lowry's at. You're not a three-point shooter. Go ahead and attack this, and you can almost get a 2-on-1 with Garza, or if Hero helps in the baseline drift, or excuse me, the baseline hammer to Frank Jackson, but he doesn't get it. He drives. I don't mind Hami cutting, but you're cutting right into this drive. I do like Luka Garza creating this space on the baseline, but here's where opportunities are being created based off the sets or the actions or whatever, and the team is not taking advantage. Here in transition, I highlighted this with the Josh Jackson possession in the good. Here, Cade attacks. You see an unsettled zone, right? This is what I'm talking about. The Heat are not back. They're not settled into their 2-3, but Cade now gets his pass tipped, and Frank Jackson was going to have a wide open 3 or a catch and drive, attack the closeout against a very, very unsettled defense, but Cade isn't able to make the pass, and it doesn't end up providing anything. It ends up transitioning the other way. And then the last thing, okay, is we have to get the ball into the middle of the zone. There's one with Hami where he catches this. I don't know that we're getting the right guys there, but then we have to be able to attack and score off of this. Like, we have the advantage right now based on where the ball is. I think Frank should be down a little bit. Jeremy should be in the corner, maybe ready to cut as his defender has turned his head, but we don't really get a very good pass. Jeremy shoots this shot with the high catch, keeps it high, and then he misses, and we don't get anybody really going to the offensive boards. So I just think we're getting guys in the right positions, or maybe getting the ball in the right position, but not to the right guy, and then we have to take advantage of those situations.